Hi, and it's Trev Talks Tech here. Here is a very brief video for you, and it's a little cautionary tale. I have here an iron, soldering iron. It's basically a temperature controlled soldering iron. There is the bit for it, and there is the heating element for it. Now I've just removed all of that from the case, and here is the control circuit. Now, because it was actually provided with a European plug, I decided to take that off, and I wired it according to what I would have thought was the correct methodology. And here we can see we've got a 2-core wire. I think it's quite rubbish wire. I think it might be copper plated aluminium. You can see there's a little fuse, that built-in fuse there. I'm just going to check that. Little control chip, some resistors, and obviously then there's the controlling output there. If I just turn this over, you can see that it's got a multi-element display where the some part of that appears to have come off. Not sure what's gone on there. So it was a cheap and cheerful thing. It came with these. Well, I doubt it. It came with a few of these, which are the brass hot melt units that you melt into plastic. Now I'm building a 3D printed Dalek here, courtesy of a third party's print files, with my own mods going on with it. And what I want to do is hot melt some of these little brass units into this, so I can build it in stages rather than use the little push through plastic clips. It was designed to be assembled using these, and they don't really cut it for me, plus I've got some mods I'm doing within the case. So I wanted to use this. This was the unit that was supplied to insert those little hot melt brass things. Yeah, it's just really a soldering iron, to be honest with you. But look, this is the thing I wanted to mention here. Here's the wiring going in. If I just move it and turn it the other way up, that would be better, wouldn't it? You can see we've got a live, neutral and earth there. Well, first thing to mention is that the earth is completely not connected to anything. It's just a long wire that runs up to the other end, and allegedly should be earthing the tip, but it doesn't do anything of the kind. So that's point number one. Not too bothered about that in here, to be honest with you. But the other thing that's really annoying is that look at the wiring colour. We've got red to neutral and black to the live, and that's just completely counterintuitive, and it just goes to show that you really need to be very careful as to what you put where in these things. Now obviously it's AC, it shouldn't really matter which one goes where, and certainly the European plug is reversible, but the fact is I switched it on and nothing happened. So I don't know whether this unit is even working, but what I'm going to do is what I should do really is reverse the soldering on there. In fact, that's what I am going to do, and we'll see if it works once I've done that. Like I say, I don't really think it should make any difference, but let's see if it does. Okay. Yeah, not happy with that, but then that's what you get for buying things from AliExpress. Be on your guard at all times when you're buying things from cheap and cheerful suppliers. Sometimes the kit's very good, sometimes it is just fit for purpose, and sometimes it's dubious, to say the least. Okay, let's do the job and get back to it shortly. Okay, I've changed the wiring over, and predictably no difference. So I have just metered it to see that there is power going in, and I'm just working my way through the circuit, but there's no lights on the display. I'm just going to check the fuse there, see if there's anything coming through that. My suspicion is that it's just a shonky rubbish piece of cheap tat, and I'll just use a normal soldering iron instead of this, and that will work just as well, won't it? But still, let's persevere just for a little bit longer before I just put this in the junk pile and carry on with something else. Just going over this unit with a thermal camera, and you can see if I just angle everything up. So that is the mains lead leading to the unit, and you can see that's actually getting a bit warm just there. Now I have just soldered that, but come on, it was a little while ago. I guess there are certain ambient temperatures. The ambient temperature is about 24 degrees, so we have to bear that in mind. Even so, I guess it's all relative, really. What am I looking at now? That's just heat radiating from a black body, which is not actually connected to anything. But if I go here, if I look at this, so now I'm looking at a couple of the components on the board, and you can see that they are getting up to about 32 degrees, slightly above, and the actual heating element itself is actually below ambient temperature as well. So nothing much appears to be happening. I'm just going to leave it for a moment and see if anything changes, but I really feel that that unit there was just an absolute waste of my time and money, and I'm not going to bother with that again. So if you're going to get one of these little brass kits, do make sure you pick on a decent quality one. Maybe go somewhere that actually provides something reliable, that it's worth taking back if it doesn't work. Yeah, not impressed with that at all, and I don't think I'm going to waste any more time on it. So there you go. Cautionary tale indeed of what you should or should not do or buy on AliExpress. I think I bought some good stuff from there before, component parts and bits and pieces. There's other things I bought from there which are perfectly good, and I'm not saying all Chinese stuff's not rotten either. These little fancy things actually seem very, for the money, are nice and reliable and doing the job. Pleased with that. But yeah, not at all happy with this. And I'm just going to switch it off and write it off. And there we go. So I just used the 15-watt soldering iron with a slightly shonky old bit on it, and that has very nicely allowed me to implant the melt in those M3 little brass connections there. There we go. So I can now put the thing together in stages, with the last stage being the one that goes at the bottom here. Now, so that's going to bolt in the bottom of here. But what am I doing? Can you guess? You might know part of it, but guess what? I'm going to reveal all of it in due course. I have some other work to do before this project is ready for final assembly, and I will keep you posted on the development of the other component parts. And here is another clue as to what is going on. So this little circuit here is based on the LM567C. I have actually done a little bit of talking about this already, but here we go. It's connected to a microphone on the one hand, and it's also connected to one of these amplifier speakers over here. And when I turn the microphone on, I talk to the microphone, you can hear me, but it's obviously very very distorted, almost in a kind of metallic way. So that's going to be plugged in here, and this can be adjusted. I can adjust the level of this, and let me just try to demonstrate that. I don't have enough hands, but if I just adjust this, you can see that that's pretty normal, but I can adjust it right up to here, so it's a very strange effect indeed. And it's just modulating, it's using this little chip with a VCO on board to modulate the audio. And hey, so guess what? That's part of the ascending. Let's take that off. Got the little Finersi power supply here. I'm not sponsored by Finersi, by the way, but I have seen a lot of their adverts, and I did end up buying 3 different units that they make. This little bench power supply has been doing a wonderful job. That is providing 5 volts to this little CMOS kit here. Don't know if it necessarily needs 5 volts. It's not getting hot or anything. I think it's going to run fine on 5 volts. There was 100, it was running on 9 volts with a 100k resistor in the line, as per the instructions from the site I was, whose design I'm using here. But running on 5 volts minus the resistor turned out to be the better option. May be able to turn the voltage down a little bit more, we'll see. But 5 volts is pretty much standard as to what's going to be used in this whole arrangement. Attached to this as well, we've got a bit more breadboard to do. There's going to be a small amplifier here and another circuit designed to flash lights that react to audio. Can you guess what I'm doing? There's a few elements to bring together, and so I will in due course. And telling you that I'm doing it is helping to motivate me to get on with it. So there you go. That's the that's what's on the bench right now, and I'm going to be putting it together in due course. Look out for the next video.